Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Southdown Garage. My name is Kurt, and today we're working on a vehicle that isn't charging. Now, we've all been there where we're working on something that we just can't get running and it's driving us crazy. So what do? First thing you do is go to the internet. Ask the internet, why is a mechanic charging me so much? Or why is a mechanic so dumb? Now, part of the things that we need to understand is what a mechanic is going to do when they're diagnosing your vehicle. Well, you can do the same thing, of course. That's why we have programs like YouTube and forums. However, there are things that you need to know before you start replacing components. Like, why am I replacing the component? Well, because the internet told me to. Well, the internet didn't diagnose your car. The internet is not in front of your vehicle. You are. You're in front of your vehicle. So here today, we're gonna go through why your car isn't charging and how you can fix it and how you can avoid the common pitfalls of just following forums or videos that you find online and replace everything and then still wonder why it's not working. Right behind me, we have a 2013 Passat TDI. Recently had a lot of work done, and unfortunately the alternator stopped working. One of the things that I did is I went through everything on the vehicle and I tested it. I'm gonna go through it with you, and I've gone along the process to test every single step before replacing anything. So let's go into that now. Why am I going through this video? Because this video is specifically going to be designed to help you guys that perhaps maybe have replaced a component and maybe it's the right component, but you're still not getting the result you want. Knowing before you replace the component can tell you whether you get a good component, or these days we're getting lots of bad components because the product quality is not there. Before you hit the forums and you get overloaded with advice or good lucks, let's start with diagnosing each component and then eliminate that component as we do so. Starting with the most simple things, the battery. Hey guys, before we get into the video, why don't you head over to our merch store and take a look at grabbing yourself something to support the channel. We appreciate everybody that tunes in and watches our content, but we thank you for taking the time to support us so that we can make better content for you. Now, let's get into this video. One of the things you see right now is we have 12.56 ready to go. We have everything off just in case we need to test the fuse, which will be in behind there. But right now we're going to test the battery. We're going to fire it up and see what the change is. Does it go up? Does it go down? Let's find out. Right away you can see the voltage is dropping. So we want to find out, why is the voltage dropping? Do we have any issues? And right now the car is running. Let's do some quick diag, shall we? Take off these leads. We're going to start process of elimination. So this right here, one of these is going to go to your starter and one of them is going to go to your alternator. So with a voltage, you're on the voltage right here. You want to see if there's any voltage drop. 0.07, nothing. Because unlike checking your resistance, this will tell you what the difference is. Like, for example, if you had a blown fuse, it would do that. So, by touching these two together. Now, let's go from here, and we're gonna go check the voltage down on the alternator. 0.7. Like nothing. No drop. Kind of nerve-wracking. Now, we're going to test 0.27. What we've done is we've disconnected both the negative and positive terminal. We've disconnected. If the problem sometimes one person mentioned was you can run this and it will have battery voltage on that side but not this side if the fuse is damaged while running, so you check this while it's not running. Either way, this is okay. There is no issue. with the fuse. Go in, squeeze out. There we go. These are the two wires that we're gonna back probe, and we're gonna make sure that we have a positive battery light, but we have to turn on the ignition. Let's first make sure that we didn't pull out. Oh, uno momento, I gotta disconnect that thing. Maybe there. No. Any damage up there? So let's back probe this a little and make sure that all of this is okay. We've got everything disconnected. Now let's move up top and we're gonna double check this one more time. This is turning into a long video. Kind of took a break the rest of the night. I was getting kind of crabby and I was like, oh no, blah, 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 blah. It was a good time to take a break, go inside and go over the wiring diagram and take a look at all of the bends and do what forth and whatever. And what we found was, once we're looking at the charging system and how it's laid out from Volkswagen, is the exciting wire doesn't run when the vehicle is turned on. The vehicle has to be running. So in order for us to test the exciting wire, we get to, you guessed it, put the alternator back in and figure out some way to connect to it out of the car and run it and test and see if we have voltage on any one of the circuits before we pull it apart again and confirm that this brand new alternator is toast. Let's take a look at putting this back together. We've still got voltage running to it, so that's smart. I'm gonna go get another back probe wire. I'm gonna get some tape. I'm gonna wrap it up and then hang it down, and then we can put everything back together again and test for it. Okay, so let's take a look up here. I'm gonna push up into the plug. 7.85 volts. Well, we got the brand new rebuilt alternator that we got done locally. Brushes were completely wore out. Stator motor completely wore out. There was work. The bushing needed to be redone, ground down. Regulator should work, so we're gonna put it back in and see if this thing runs. And if it does, I'm gonna go drink a beer. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna light this car on fire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we know that that last alternator was junk. We just put the rebuilt one in. Everything works great. Happiest day of our lives. So what did we learn from spending a little bit more time, maybe taking a break and going back into the house and taking a look at what's going on? We learned that the system did not work specifically the way I thought it would originally. Oop, glasses are fogging up. I'm a hot, steamy mess. Sometimes your signal wire will go to this alternator, send voltage to it. If your alternator is not showing the correct voltage, your alternator should charge. So if it's getting a signal voltage to it that isn't enough, it will cause the alternator to charge. It will go into a full charge system or setup, and roughly around 8 volts is what Volkswagen does for the output voltage from what I read on service manual information. You should be getting 14 volts out of the alternator when you're getting the signal voltage to the alternator. We've determined that our fuses are good, our battery was good, and the wiring to the alternator is good. We also know that all the wiring from the battery is working as well, and we have no issues with ground or anything else. So now that we know that that brand new alternator is in here and it's failed, it's not because of something that we overlooked. But next time you're in the position to work on your vehicle and to find out what's going on, you work on solving the problem, not the part. The part means nothing. If everything to the part is right, your voltage, your signal voltage, everything is working correctly, and it's still not working, stop. Go back to basics. Did anything change? Did putting the new alternator in blow anything? That's why we did all this testing again, to make sure that everything was correct. Don't overthink it. It can be something simple, but as long as you've done all your checks beforehand, all your fuses are good, your battery is good, like I mentioned before, the wiring to the alternator, the wiring to the battery, the fuse in the control module there, and your voltage from the ECU or wherever your signal voltage comes from to the alternator is good, then you know your problem is somewhere else. And for us, it's potentially that the alternator sat too long, and the only way to ignite it is to send 12 volts directly to it, which we could technically do, but we're gonna have the other one rebuilt because I don't wanna have any more problems with my buddy's vehicle. I don't wanna excite it. It works for 10 minutes, he takes it, and we have another issue. So the original alternator is getting rebuilt by someone who knows what they're doing. And unfortunately, nowadays, these are the testings that you're gonna have to do in order to protect yourself from overspending by just replacing parts you think might have failed. Go buy yourself a multimeter, it's $50. Go get a test light. Don't ever use a test light on the signal voltage to the alternator, we'll say that. But everything else you can check with a multimeter, you can check all your fuses with an incandescent test light and make sure that everything is good. I hope this video is helpful to you guys. If this video is helpful, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and if you want to help us out, take a look at our merch. We have all of our merch on sale. We have sweaters, we have t-shirts, we have hats, 20% off for Black Friday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Take care, and we'll see you on another episode of Southdown Garage. Bye for now.